It's 8:52 here in New York. I'm Bryant Gumbel. We understand that there has been a plane crash on the southern tip of Manhattan. You're looking at the World Trade Center.
Apparently, a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center.
I'm going to call from Washington. I am in a situation where Americans learned a possible hijack.
Baby, you have to listen to me carefully. I'm on a plane that's been hijacked. I'm on the plane. I'm calling from the plane. I want to tell you I love you. Please tell my children that I love them very much. And I'm so sorry, babe. I hope to be able to see your face again, baby. I love you. Bye.
Jules, this is Ryan. Listen, on an airplane that's been hijacked. If things don't go well, and it's not looking good, I just want you to know I absolutely love you. I want you to do good. So happy this time. Same to my parents and everybody. And I just totally love you, and I'll see you later. Bye, babe.
I'm gonna die.
Ma'am, say your prayers. We're gonna think positive because you gotta help each other get off the floor.
I'm gonna die.
Hi, I'm Jenna Williams, and I'm a junior at Ballard High School. With the 20th anniversary of 9/11 coming up, we went around and talked to some teachers about their 9/11 experience.
Hi, my name is Carl White. I am a college career coordinator and assistant basketball coach for the men's basketball program.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Habermel, otherwise known as Miss H. I am the Freshman Academy Counselor here at Ballard High School.
I'm Miss Irvin. I teach AP US History at Ballard High School.
I'm Mr. Calvin Kirby, the homeschool coordinator at Ballard High School.
Where were you when 9/11 happened?
During 9/11, I was working for a company called NPC, which was separated from the airport by the expressway on Preston Highway. So we were in fear that that airport was going to be hit next.
When 9/11 happened, I was actually in a social studies classroom at the time, and somebody came in and told us that a plane had flown into the Trade Center, the World Trade Center. And so, but they came over the announcements and told us all that we were not allowed to turn on the TV. So it just so happened that our planning was the next period, and we turned it on and we saw the second one hit. But then we had a teacher that I worked with whose son happened to be in one of the trade centers. So that was it was very traumatic. And it was very stressful just watching her because she couldn't get a hold of him. That was kind of crazy.
I was in the 4th grade. Luckily, they didn't tell us during class. I found out at the end of the school day at volleyball practice, actually.
When 9/11 happened, I was in Frankfurt in the Kentucky Army National Guard, and I was doing a joint operation with the Kentucky State Police, DEA, ATF. We were searching for marijuana in the Daniel Boone National Forest. People growing marijuana in the National Forest. And after we found out that happened, we started shipping supplies from Kentucky to New York.
Where do you think we are now as a country, and what has changed?
Well, I would like to think that our country is becoming a little more united as a result of 9/11. But sometimes you wonder, this war has been a 20-year war since the actual 911, and I don't know that we made a lot of progress in terms of what we did for that country, but I will hope that at this point we have resolved our issues with 911, and we have revenged some of our lost people.
I feel like we do a better job of trying to prevent things like this from happening. But I also feel like at times we are also over cautious about some things. I think it's also created some division between different cultures and, just people being afraid of what they don't know.
I just remember right after 9/11, the country was so united. I remember seeing images on TV of everybody being really patriotic, and I think we've kind of gotten away from that. So we're a little bit more divided today for sure.
I think we're a little bit more safer, a little bit more secure. We tightened up our security and put a lot more policies in place for other countries, letting people come over and going over to other country. So I think it's a lot safer that way.
So I was in graduate school at West Virginia University, and in those days I was riding my bike to the campus from where I lived. And I remember very clearly I was coming out of there, and I was walking my bike across the road and into the parking lot of the building where my classes and my studio were. And I met another student. I still remember who it was. His name was Stephen Worth. And he met me outside on the walkway, and he told me what was happening.
I was actually in Washington, D.C. on a business trip when 9/11 occurred.
And I remember that very distinctly. And he said, so there's nothing, no one's going to stay in the building. There's no classes or anything today. And so then I immediately went home back the way I came. And the first thing I did was I called my friend who lived in New York.
I was specifically in the back of a taxi cab when we realized what was going on. It was just me and the taxi driver listening to this radio report and trying to understand what it was, because it was so surreal at the time. We heard the reporters describe the second plane hitting the tower and pulled over and just sat there in silence for a while, trying to understand and process what had happened. Later on, I realized that the Pentagon had also been hit. When we drove out the next day trying to get home, we actually drove past the Pentagon and we could still see the smoke from it.
So what was never the same, I think, was it was very difficult to think about, conversations in particular about Islam in the same way after 9/11.
A close friend of mine who's Pakistani and I had driven to DC for this meeting, and the drive home, watching people react to him, although he had obviously nothing to do with any of it, really was indicative of the way people changed to the negative for many years.
The friend I mentioned early on who I called on that day actually saw the second plane hit in person. One thing he said was that anyone who was living in New York City on that day, regardless of whether they were born in New York or if they just had arrived a week ago, every single person living there on that day became a New Yorker.